Second half, we got Socrates swimming. Please welcome Socrates!
Give him a kiss! Yeah! He's got a little white privilege. How y'all doing today, huh? Yeah, I saw this show, I decided to horn my way in. I'm not going to miss out on this one. It's a bit ironic, but hey, I'm here. That's the beauty of it. I've never been to Thailand, but I like your king because you have to. If you ever want to go there. Do you know anything about the king of Thailand? You see this thing? Look up some videos. He had a birthday party for his dog with his topless wife, I guess. He married her one night. She's the queen now, the topless woman. You don't have to answer. You don't film. But it's not like eating a passive dog. You're not like, oh, great dog. It's like a little poodly thing. It's like a really foo-foo-y little dog. It's weird. You know what I mean? And you can't say anything about it because the less majestic laws, because you'll get your ass tossed in jail. How do you be a comedian in Thailand? Like knock-knock jokes and things. I mean, let's play this one safe. Listen, edgy, woo, I love the king. That's edgy. Because you never know. This guy in Russia just now got arrested because he said his Wi-Fi code or his Wi-Fi name to Slava Ukraine, which is, glory to Ukraine. So they arrested him for his Wi-Fi name. I knew somebody in New York or whatever set the Wi-Fi to "we can hear you fucking." It may not help though. Woo, yeah, they can hear us, baby. Yeah. That's just me though. Anybody else on drugs? There's nothing wrong with drugs, is there? I think it must be weird to do drugs in the modern era, It's like this is a midday show, Kind of get yourself excited. So do some cocaine, and it's fentanyl. Woo, let's do this thing, yeah! I mean, that just seems really, I don't get how that would ever work. Why would you ever buy from the same guy again? Hey, man, I was going out all night. I fell asleep in the alley and was raped a bit. It was fun, I think, but it wasn't the goal. I've done fentanyl. Anybody else done fentanyl? Just me? Got to read the room better. So I met this guy once who offered me fentanyl. He was like, hey, man, you want a shot of fentanyl? I was like, no, man, I don't want this fentanyl. Then I realized, you know what? My arm is badly broken. This is an ambulance. Sure, I'll take a shot of fentanyl. True story. Actually happened like that. He gave me, hooked me up, but he wasn't giving me like that one shot thing. It was like heroin people that got shot. He hooked me up with a mainline stent, so I could do shots again and again. Committing to the bit. That's a good one. And he put this thing in me, right? And I felt this wonderful sense of relief, this wonderful feeling of, oh, it was really good. And he said to me, and now I'm going to give you the fentanyl. So what the hell did you just give me? He said, saline. It was good. I mean, it was really, I don't know if it was like Afghani sea salt or what it was, but that saline, it was fucking fantastic. And then I'm thinking, well, the fentanyl's got to be better than the saline, right? Theoretically, you would think, right? No. Gave me the fentanyl, nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing. How can salt be better than a highly addictive drug that kills hundreds of thousands of Americans a year? They can just put some salt on their food and it's so much better. When I got to the hospital, and it's like the good thing about being hurt is the drugs. It's like the good thing about life. It's the drugs. Sorry, kid, it's true. I have to tell you that. You just gotta have the right amount at the right time, you know what I mean? Because I got to the hospital and they looked at my x-ray and they went, ugh. Which is not a reaction you want a doctor to have, But the next reaction was the one you do want a doctor to have, because she said, would you like a shot of morphine? I mean, the fentanyl was all right. The saline was fantastic. Well, what the hell? Triple down. Gave me that shot of morphine. I said, yeah, I'd like a shot of morphine, especially right about now, because the day kind of sucked. And I got to tell you, morphine, 5-star drug. You had it, Megan? Did you know a guy or were you hurt? Yeah, so you kind of knew a guy. Yeah. How many times did they give you morphine? Just the one time, right? It's just like a taste. It's a tease. When I left, she actually said to me, would you like another shot of morphine? That's a gold platinum kind of, if you have a higher level of insurance, they give you the 2 shots of morphine. So you get the basic one. See, that's the whole problem. Yeah, morphine, he can tell you, it's like a warm hug on a cold night. Right? It is one hell of a great drug. If my life gets way worse, I'm willing to, like, you know, they like go for, you know, euthanasia. Like, what about 5 years on morphine? Yeah, I could probably handle a couple years on morphine, you know? I don't know if I take it more than 5, but I think I got 5 years in a horrible case. You know what I'm saying? It's great. Because it's one of those drugs where you just want to sit down on the couch and watch TV and nap a bit, and you like kind of nod out. You're like, hey, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I was talking about. You're like, yeah, from your perspective, it's great. This man knows what I'm talking about. You are my people, man. You know? They say you give you paracetamol at the hospital. They never gave me paracetamol at the hospital, never once, you know? And actually, when I had surgery, because I broke my shoulder, I got hit by a scooter. Ken taught me the word "aangeraden," which means to be slammed into. And I had to have surgery, and then did this thing called Nixon. It's not as President, you know, Nixon. It's nothing. And President Nixon did all sorts of stuff. Completely different use of the word. Wrong version of Nixon. But nonetheless, it took them 8 months. They finally gave me surgery. And when I had the surgery, I was thinking to myself, you know what I'm going to have in surgery? Give me a shot of morphine. Maybe I shouldn't have said that I was looking forward to the morphine, because they never gave me one, which really sucked. They gave me Oxycontin. Anybody do Oxycontin? Any Oxy people? You've done Oxy? You never did. You didn't give you Oxycontin? 1 shot of morphine and then paracetamol? 0. And then paracetamol and nothing but that stuff. Yeah. Did anybody did Oxy? There's no Oxy people in the room? Not once? Really? Oxy is a drug. I don't get how there's so many people addicted to it and dying from it. Morphine, I get. Morphine, fantastic, fun, great. Oxycontin, it's a crappy drug. I use it to sleep. For like almost a year, I took one to sleep every night because my arm was kind of screwed up, and if you screw up a shoulder, it's bad. Standing's not so bad, but there's no version of sitting or laying down that's fun. It's like, just sucks. And Oxycontin sucks a little less. Basically, you can fall asleep with that crap. And the doctors always said to me, you shouldn't do so much Oxy. You shouldn't do that. What do you want me to do? Paracetamol. I'm taking 1,200 or whatever paracetamol a day. Well, you shouldn't do that much. How about ibuprofen? 400 another day. Well, you shouldn't do that either. How about Oxycontin? Do you have any other options? I'm like, no. Then I'm starting to see light, which is even worse. But yeah, like I said, life is a thrilling experience, you know what I mean? Sometimes you're going to go to a sauna, and sometimes you go to the hospital instead, but it's hopefully gives you good material, because in August, I thought I was getting better, and I had a stroke. Yeah, it's not actually funny, appreciate that. I know. The thing is this, though, it's like I went to sleep as Socrates, and an hour later I woke up as Strokates. It wasn't really my choice or option, essentially. But they tell me now, they say, do you have any fear? You know, you're scared, you know, go to sleep, live, or whatever. It's like, no, I have no fear. To the point when I count in Dutch, I skip to number 4. There's no fear. You know, if you've had a stroke or taken a lot of morphine, that joke's fun. So if you do get hurt, at the very least, look forward to the morphine. Tell them when you get there, oh, I know I need morphine, because that way they'll give it to you. And tell them Socrates sent you. Thanks so much. Give it up again. My name's Socrates.
We'll keep our energy going.
Oh hey, welcome to another edition of Socrates Goes Somewhere. My name is Socrates. I like going places. Some of my favorite little bridges, going across that big piece of water that goes all the way to Switzerland. Taking a look at a bunch of boats on that river. And this is that beautiful train bridge. It's a nice parabolic arc. So it's a mathematical bridge. And the train's coming from yonder. We're right down near Weesp, and it's one of the cooler places. With a little sprinter going down the line. But it's on my bike ride back home from Weesp. It's at the Rondell, getting some eggs, and a nice little ride back home. Beautiful Dutch day. because the weather is Dutch. Everything's Dutch here, but I like it. We all like it. I like it here. It's a beautiful place. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you gotta go somewhere else. That's why I left the US. Netherlands, hop up Netherlands. I be here. You be here. Yeah, IBTV too, yay! Oh hey, welcome to another edition of Hand-Laid Tracks and 3D Printed Trains with Socrates. Today we're taking another look at the roller bender. This is the other side. The roller bender. Basically it's 3 roller bearings on pins, and you can use it to make curves. I use it as a rail bender to make the curves for the curved tracks, and it works pretty well. The really downside is at the end of the rail ends up with a piece that's straight. It sort of falls out. So I thought what would be better would be a smaller roller bender. So I took the same basic idea and shrunk it down as much as I could and used 3 smaller bearings in the middle, and it works a whole lot better to make the tracks. It's a little less precise. The bigger one is a little more, it's easier to adjust, a little bigger, a little smaller. This is a little more finicky as far as the adjustments go and getting it the exact right dimensions. But for the most part it still works pretty well, and the ends are really clean. It pretty much bends the rail all the way to the end. You waste less rail, it makes it a little less of a pain to use it, etc. Like I say, it's a little more finicky to use to get the exact control of it, but I find it works a bit better all things considered, and I've been using it instead of the bigger one for the last couple tracks I've made. So this is basically how the big railer works. You put the rail into the gap. It has to have a little point where it pushes down, and because the rollers are so far apart, you end up with a bit of a flat on the end of the curve, which I always found a bit annoying because you have to cut it off and deal with it, and you can't have a nice clean end to begin with. So the smaller rail roller has ball bearings that are closer to each other, and it makes that end much shorter. It's a little hard to get it in at first. Once it's in there though, it rolls pretty easily. The rollers being closer together than on the original one makes it much smaller end to deal with. But basically you have to put in the little nuts into all of the printed parts. I use a vice grip to basically put them in there, force them in flat, because the vice grip comes up nice and even, and that makes it easier to do it that way. And then you put in a nut into all the different pieces. There's 6 screws in all, 16 millimeter. I use countersunk, but you can use the regular rounded head as well. They both work. You need a rounded head for the middle, for the center piece that controls the actual piston, because it has to have a surface to ride on, and that one has a washer underneath it as well. For the most part, there's washers around the bearings, but that's about the only place that the washers go. And the screw in the middle, it has 2 lock washers on it, or 2 lock nuts on it, small nuts, and they go against each other, and you have to figure out exactly where in the part that the nuts have to go, and so you have to fiddle with it a little bit and make sure it's in the right place. Once you find it in the right place, take a pair of wrenches and tighten it against each other. I either use wrenches or I use the needle nose pliers because it's a bit thin in there, as there's all kind of tight clearances. But once you have that together, that's the bearing surface for the piston to move back on itself, because you have to have something to push on. And when you turn the knob on the bottom, that'll control how far apart the rails are, and that'll control how far the curve is you're making, whether it's a tighter or a looser curve. And when you put it together, you have to make sure it's not too tight so the bearings can still roll. So you got to bring it together a little bit slowly. I use a pen on the roller bearings to see that they're actually rolling around, and once they're in there like that, you can go ahead and get it tight enough that they're still loose enough to roll, but tight enough that it stays together, because it has to be secure so that it doesn't move back and forth a little bit, because that'll completely change the radius that you're putting into the curve. But it's a nice little tool. I find it works a lot better than the bigger tool. It's a little more finicky because it's hard to get it exactly set up right, but once it's there, it's pretty consistent, and I found it works pretty well. And again, it makes a nice simple curve, and push it through the one side, and that's the easiest way to make it work. You want to always push the rails for the most part. Don't pull them. You want to push them, because otherwise you can end up basically straightening it out by pulling on it. So like I said, I put a couple marks on it so I can make sure it's actually rolling nice and free. and then push the rail through, and just like that, you've got yourself a curved piece of track. And if you're making a curved track, make some more of them and get it out to solder. And I use my own 3D printed things, and that's a 3D printed jig. It's how I make all my pieces. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be pretty darn close enough, and just like that, curved piece of track. So that's the 2 roller benders. They're both on Colts. You can get the big one. If you're doing bigger tracks, I think you're going to need that. And if you're doing N scale, etc., I think the small one works in some ways better. They're both available on Colts. Get them yourself, assemble them up, bend some rails. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Hand laid tracks doesn't have a theme song. Hand laid tracks still doesn't have that theme song. Because hand laid tracks doesn't have a theme song. Hand laid track, it doesn't have a theme song. Still.
I believe that, extreme love and empathy is the answer to all of our problems as humanity. So, if you'll just indulge me for a second and look to your left and look to your right. Okay. None of you did it. I just told you that it would solve all of our problems of humanity, and the majority of you were like, I'm not moving my neck for nothing, so I don't know what to do with you all. Enjoy your problems, I guess. But here's a guy that's not a problem. Here's a guy that solves them. Please put your hands together for my pal, Socrates. Yeah.
Thanks so much. Keep going in there. MC extraordinaire. How are y'all doing tonight? Yeah, just got back from a vacation. I was in Sweden. Nice people there. They showed their appreciation in the way it wasn't expected. Yeah, most of my material is based on common peanuts, so it's what it is. By the way, I am an American. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. We're trying. You know what I mean? We helped Ukraine for a little while. We did. We got bored with it, you know what I mean? We moved on, you know what I mean? We decided to have political squabbles instead, because, when you're really important, you want to be a jackass. It's a good thing Americans don't travel. They come over here, they find out that, one, they're not important. Europeans don't really care about them one way or the other. They think we're wrong on almost everything. I've been here 14 years, so I agree, we have a saying in America, if you don't like it here, get the fuck out. It's a great saying. It's actually very effective and accurate, and it works. Because I didn't like it then. Get the fuck out. Great ever since, I gotta tell you. Back in January, I became Dutch. Woo! Well, that an expat audience. Because the Dutch are like, okay. You look old. It's true. I'm 58, by the way, if you can't tell, which is 85 in Dutch. Got a lot of people doing Dutch here. Yeah, if you're not dyslexic when you come to this country as an American, you become dyslexic over time. Because all the numbers are backwards, you know what I mean? Dates are backwards. 24-hour clock, can't do it. Took me a long time. I had a show on the 11th of December and another show on the 12th of November. I could not tell these 2 dates apart. They look exactly the same to me because, it's backwards. It's like I before E, unless you're in Netherlands, in which case don't try. It's like when you have that spell check thing, gets a little red line underneath your things. That's helpful. You can learn your spelling. You can get much better at it. Just simply click, on right click and put add to dictionary. And over time, your spelling becomes perfect. I'll give a damn what my friends say. Hey, look, and check that. Of course, learning Dutch is difficult too. That's another thing. That's different. Use your mouth in a different way. Like in America, that's how I did this. Maybe that one was.
Guess what happened?
That one might have been here, yeah. Here a little crackly. Like I said, Dutch is a hard language. So is English. It's hard to talk sometimes. But like I say, in Dutch, it's on the back of your throat and everything. It's all I'm not pushing the button this time. And then Greek's all on the lips, it's all pop, 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 But English, American English, is none of that. You can break your jaw, wire it shut, has no impact whatsoever. Continue to talk, wire it up. You can't shut an American up, is what I'm saying, But if we're Dutch, everything's Dutched up as with a there's not a good word you can't Dutch up with a or two. There's a lot of double words, I've asked. There's no triple chs. No one's come up with a triple like double Like enough. Enough is a good word, but not enough for Dutch. They had to hook it up, But genoeg isn't enough, So genoeg, okay, that's doubled up. That's genoeg, But no one's come up with a triple hooker, that I know of. Like the word shoe is a nice, easy word. They Dutch it up, right? Schoenen. That's simple, I like that. It's logical. But like gloves and mittens, handschoenen, hand shoes. Hand shoes. That's weird, right? That's like simple. Like they don't call a hat a hand. They don't call that that's what a hoofdschoenen. You know what I mean? They don't call a condom a pibbeltjeschoenen. Love the word pibbeltje. It's a great word. It's a Dutch word for a little tiny dick. If you get a pibbeltje, by the way, I don't know if you want to go with a pibbeltje because there's not much of this with a pibbeltje. But like I said, I was in Greece a little while ago and I spoke Dutch accidentally because my cousin handed me something and I said, yeah, graag, She said, please, I was pleased to give it to her. And she said, are you okay? Thought I had suffered a stroke. It was just Dutch, I think Klingon is modeled after Dutch, Again, the word graag, that's like at the Klingon death ceremony. Graag, I love these words. Yeah, poppy. So, anybody do drugs in here? Any drug people? Yeah, there's my drug folks in the back. Woo! What's your favorite drug? Cocaine, yeah. See, now I have a question though. When people buy cocaine, it's cut with fentanyl a lot. So if you buy coke, you're like, yeah, let's do this thing. I don't get that. Did you ever get fentanyl coke?
Oh, I'm from Australia, so we get what we give it.
There you go. Well, yeah, I got what I was given throughout my life too. Been to the clinic multiple times. It's not good. It's not good. But I got to go to the hospital a little while ago, and they gave me a shot of morphine. Anyone do morphine here? Morphine's a great drug. You had morphine? Oh, you just take it as on a need basis. Yeah, I get that, man. I have the need. Yeah, morphine's great, though. It's like a warm hug on a cold night. If anybody offers you morphine like that guy back there, you take it. What's your name, by the way? What's your name? Trying to make friends. Say it again. You. We're close enough. It's hard to hear you from here. I might be able to pronounce it. I've been living here a little while. I expect patient Netherlands. And I've met various Femkes, you know what I mean? My therapist is Yap. It is. It's like the most generic name. I wish he was married to Femke, but he's not apparently, which is unfortunate because it was a great opportunity right there. Yeah, back a couple of years ago as COVID ended, I thought that, we all did that meditation thing where you stay home and got in touch with yourself, learn different ways to masturbate, or make bread. People did different things with their time, And it finally ended, and I got back into the world, and I thought, I'd rejoin my life, and I was going to go to the sauna one day, and I came around the corner, and there was a scooter coming the other way. I didn't see it. I had no idea. That's when I learned the word achterin, which is unfortunately means to be slammed into, and I went flying through the air like a bird, which was great. It was actually a lot of fun, the flying part. The landing part sucked, because I landed like an octopus and got half my arms broken. But the good thing is now I can hold a microphone again. Not much more than that, but just a microphone. Hey, thank you. So the hands up for the Dutch medical system. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. It's all right. You know what I mean? It's like living in the Netherlands, Or like getting a microphone. But I mean, that's what makes it cool. That's one of the nice things about doing these things at all, this live concept of performance. It's a one-shot deal. You know what I mean? It's going to be this night. It's going to be uniquely this way. Pops and all. It'll never happen a second time, you know what I mean? That's what's one of the cool things about life itself. It doesn't ever come back again, which is good. Because some of it, you don't want to do twice. I don't want to go fly through the air again. At least I don't want to land again. The morphine part. That's all right. You got to focus on those parts, Yeah, when she looked at my x-ray, she took those, and she did the thing you don't want any doctor to ever do. She literally went, ugh. You don't want that. You know, and you look at the x-ray like, yeah, it's the right reaction. But then she said, would you like a shot of morphine? That's a bedside manner. You can appreciate that. People complain about the Dutch medical system, not me. They gave me drugs. Sent me home with Oxycontin. That was fun. Doing the Oxy people, not a problem. I had the sound light as well. It's a combination of things here. But yeah, it's like I said, life it comes at you fast like a scooter. You know, you find yourself like a tourist in the middle of a bike lane. Don't know which way to look. Every way you look, it's wrong. And yeah, like I said, you think you're going to go all right. And then in August, I thought I was finally getting healthy. Had 2 surgeries. You know, came up with a bunch of material for the, stage, which was good. Benefit of being badly injured here. If you're coming, hopefully you find something funny. But in August, actually, I took a nap one day and I went to sleep as Socrates, and I woke up and I had a stroke. Yeah, Socrates. It wasn't really my goal in life, but they say it's like what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. And of course, what doesn't strong you is slowly killing you. But that's besides the point. They said, do you have any fear? It's like I still ride the bike. I have no fear. You know what I mean? To the point where when I got in Dutch, I skipped the number 4. No fear. Anyway, so go to America, enjoy the shootings, and make sure you duck if you hear noises, because it's not fireworks. My name was Socrates. You guys are great. See you next time.